The military way is that if you get hurt within the military, that's to stay within the military, and that's not to be shared with family. And so there's some things that had happened to Adam that we as a family were unaware of, the severity of the injuries, how they happened. And so some of those things left us in the dark about what was going on.
While undergoing training, I fell off the top of an obstacle and was pretty severely injured. I damaged several parts of my hand and arm, and additionally, I suffered a concussion. I convinced the nurse practitioner at the MIR that I was pretty much good to go, and I returned to duty. I suffered another concussion, but this one became a traumatic brain injury that presented with a seizure. And my recollection of it's a little weird, but one minute I was doing my job and the next I was on a stretcher. I seized pretty severely, and then all of the symptoms of that initial concussion and the follow-up one came to the forefront.
Adam was really struggling with a lot of the cognitive issues that related to a brain injury. So that can be anything from memory, that people have an easy time to relate to, forgetting things, but also concentration, focus. Was he eating? Was he getting dressed? At that time, Adam was quite reliant on on the military support that he was receiving to help keep his appointments and bring him to and from appointments.
Initially, I was very reluctant to do occupational therapy, but my attitude towards occupational therapy was improved by the fact that she was a civilian. I could be candid about the things that I was having difficulty with, and I could receive feedback on ways to work on them that didn't make me feel like I was being a bad troop.
Adam really identified with the sports that he'd been involved in, skiing, team sports, and that was a real area of struggle for him, that he wouldn't be able to do those anymore. So then we did a lot of exploring into what are alternatives, which brought us to running, cycling, working out, rowing, and then it's progressed since then, all the way to his varsity team and the Invictus Games.
Adam came across a doctor in Ottawa that recognized his intelligence, that recognized that he was sort of different than the average soldier, to say, you're going to go to school. You're not going to be successful, but you are going to go to school. And over a period of time, you are going to become more and more successful.
And then the role of occupational therapy really shifted to helping him with those courses. So we spent a lot of times to improve Adam's ability to focus at school, writing strategies. Adam was required to read for school, but he also reads as a leisure activity. So how do you start off a few minutes a day and then build up to reading and enjoying that aspect of his life?
So by enrolling in a university, not only was I able to see the extent of my recovery, but also it gave all of my supporting specialists metrics to gauge my recovery by. So I'd say that was definitely a turning point in my recovery, and also the beginning of a transition to Civvy Street.
For us, as we saw Adam go through this transition, because of what the system was doing to Adam, was very frustrating. What we're very proud of is how he sort of raised himself above that and started doing Invictus, started the Carleton Veterans Association, being engaged in different ways, not for himself, but to help others.
You might never be able to shake all of your belief and belonging in yourself as a soldier first, but if you start developing in ways that you haven't experienced before, it relieves that mental pressure. So for me, that although leaving the military was a negative experience, I believe that there would be a positive outcome in terms of university education at the end. My service was the result of my family legacy. My family are Black Empire Loyalists. It's been a military family since 1777, and that generation has continued until the present date.
I didn't think I would have the opportunity as a Jones to serve in the military. Now, it followed Adam, so Adam he was there first, and his line was, he says, Dad, I'm glad to see that you're in the military, and I'm glad to see I'm out before you're in, so I don't have to salute you.